What if Prince played Glastonbury? During his long career, Prince was one of, if not the greatest live performer that has ever been. He simply could do it all, from slick, energetic choreography to incredible tight bands and musicianship, exciting staging and lighting, creating some of the most spectacular concerts of all time. You see, Prince just didn't turn up and perform. He conceived everything about his live performance. The concept, the wardrobe, the lighting, the dancing, and of course the music. Prince was in charge of every aspect of his performance, and he was absolutely meticulous about it. Prince would famously rehearse his bands to within an inch of their lives, learning a repertoire of hundreds of songs so that if the mood took him at any given moment, he could call up any song and the whole band would jump straight in. Then there were the legendary sound checks, which were as good as the actual concert. And of course, after the main event, there was the even more legendary after-show parties. If you include all these performances, I'm sure Prince must have played more shows than anyone in history. From huge tours in America like the 1999 Triple Threat Tour, to the mammoth Purple Rain Tour, to massive world tours like Love Sexy and Diamonds and Pearls, and of course, not forgetting the European tour of Sign of the Times. The live visualization of this seminal album was so incredible that Prince famously decided to capture it forever on celluloid, resulting in the greatest concert movie ever made. And of course, we cannot forget Prince's legendary Super Bowl halftime show, widely regarded as the greatest of all time. And then of course that incredible guitar solo on While My Guitar Gently Weeps at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So with such an amazing catalogue of legendary live shows and performances, why did Prince never perform at Glastonbury? And if he did, what could it have done for his career? Well, over the years there were a number of rumours that Prince was going to play Glastonbury, and in 2014 it did become close to being a reality. Glastonbury organiser Michael Eavis was in discussion with Prince's camp, but unfortunately, due to social media rumours that Prince was appearing, Prince pulled out, apparently upset that details about him performing leaked online before he had even agreed to appear, believing that the organisers were using his name to sell more tickets. Michael Eavis had this to say about it at the time. "We wanted him to play, and it got to the point where his people were talking to us about him doing it. But before he confirmed, he got really upset because he thought we had advertised that he was playing. We hadn't, but with social media, rumours get everywhere. And one of those rumours was that Prince was coming, so he didn't want to do it in the end." Prince again came close to agreeing to performing at Glastonbury in 2016. Organiser Michael Eavis had actually secured a meeting with Prince's agent this time, but as we know, Prince sadly passed away beforehand. BBC Six music presenter Matt Everett, who has been Glastonbury regular for over 30 years, attending first as a fan and then later as a performer, playing drums for Menswear and the Montrose Avenue, before presenting at the festival for Six Music, took one of the last interviews Prince gave in the UK and was asked by Glastonbury organisers to ask Prince about performing at the event. Matt had this to say about it in a 2022 interview. "One of the last interviews he did in the UK was with me, and before I did the interview I had a call from the Glastonbury people saying, 'We know you're going to speak to him, we'd love him to play.' They'd been speaking to his management for years and they wanted me to really force the issue of just how great Glastonbury is. So of course I was happy to do that. Anyway, I'm doing the interview with him and I asked him if he was going to do Glastonbury. He says, 'What's Glastonbury?' So I say that Glastonbury is the best festival in the world. Everybody plays it, etc. But he's never heard of it. I explain, there's no brands there. It's on a farm. The audiences are amazing and it sells out before they announce the lineup. So I've done my bit, and a few weeks later I get a call from Glastonbury. They thank me for speaking to Prince about the festival, and they say that they got a phone call from Prince's people to say he will play Glastonbury. He'll play it in May, on the 12th, he laughs. He wouldn't do any other day, and it had to be explained that even Prince doesn't move Glastonbury. They were gutted, and isn't that the most Prince thing ever? This is classic Prince. He knew full well what Glastonbury was, and was testing them on their integrity. And was their desire for him to perform a genuine one? And as for demanding a certain date, well, this again was just pure Prince, always conducting everything on his own terms and in control. So unfortunately, after Prince passed away, whilst in negotiations to perform, it never happened, leaving him one of the greatest ever artists to not perform at the festival. So that's a bit of the backstory. So what about if Prince had actually played? Well, Prince did play one festival in the UK in 2011 at the Hop Farm, so could we use that as an example? Well, yes and no. Yes, Prince did give a great performance in a 2-hour plus show, giving the audience a masterclass in performance, even incorporating the sound check into the show. And no, as the Hop Farm Festival doesn't have the reputation, the reach or the history that Glastonbury has. Just mention Glastonbury to most people and the image of the pyramid stage and the flags will most probably come to mind. They are iconic images burned into popular culture. Then you have the media coverage that Glastonbury has. It's covered by the BBC on UK television and radio, with the main headline acts broadcast live. In 2023, the estimated TV audience over the festival was 23 million viewers, with over 50 million streams on its digital platform, so its reach is huge. So when it comes to Prince and whether Glastonbury would have been good for his career, I think it falls into two halves for me, the first half of his career and the second. The first half, probably up until the Love Symbol album in 1992, was a meteoric rise, where Prince rivaled Michael Jackson for popularity, sold millions of records and put on some of the biggest tours in history, and of course had a smash hit motion picture, album and tour with Purple Rain. In the 1980s and early 90s, Prince was a household name, so even though playing Glastonbury would have been fantastic, I don't think it would have had that much of an impact on his career at that time. Then we had the name change and the beginning of the second half of his career. A fascinating era that I could talk about for days. Prince just didn't change his name, he took himself out of the game in his fight against his record company. No more following the record company model of album release followed by 2 years of promotion, music videos and a tour to back it up. Because as Prince said himself, by then he's already recorded another 2 albums and moved on. Prince went totally independent, and although he had some initial success bagging his first ever UK #1 single with The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, the hit single soon dried up, as Prince put in minimal promotion and wasn't bothered anymore about heavy rotation on the radio, relying more on his draw as a live performer to bring in the big purple sack of money. It really was a double-edged sword for fans, as on one hand Prince was on fire, creating some incredible music and putting on amazing shows as ever, but with his drop-off from mass attention, it created a kind of us and them feel. It was like discovering the most incredible artist and band that no one knew about, but us, the ones that remained loyal to his music and to what he was doing. At least that's how it felt to me. It remains my favourite period in his career to this day. However, there was always this nagging feeling at the back of the mind that this could damage his legacy long term, that if he continues to operate outside the system, he won't ever get the proper recognition he so deserves. Prince did dip his toe back into the mainstream here and there during this period, teaming up with record companies on his own terms and giving the general public a reminder he was still around. But ultimately, after Prince's passing, in the end analysis, Prince did pay a huge price for his fight for his artistic freedom. Prince was unique, as for the most part of the last 20 years of his career and life, his record sales were shocking. But if he announced a tour, it would be a sellout. There really isn't another artist who could do that. Take Prince's legendary 21 Nights in London. This is an artist that hadn't had a major hit single or album in the UK for a number of years, but he sold out 21 nights at London's O2 Arena and played almost as many aftershows in the O2's Indigo Club. So it's safe to say that Prince would have been a huge draw for Glastonbury at whatever point in Prince's career. It is such a shame that the attempt in 2014 to get Prince to appear didn't happen, as the Third-Eyed Girl period was perfect for Glastonbury. Just imagine the pyramid stage on a beautiful summer's day with a huge crowd, and then Prince takes to the stage and opens with Let's Go Crazy Reloaded.
If you don't like, we'll leave it here. Make a look around.
It would have been incredible, and the roof would still be in orbit, blown off by the sheer power of the performance. Third-Eyed Girl were loud, probably the loudest band Prince ever put together. Everything was high octane and put into overdrive. Imagine the amount of people Prince would have reached in that crowd. There would have been so many who had never seen him live. There would be those who didn't know he could play so hard. There would be those who didn't realise how incredible he was on the guitar. And there would be those whose life was about to change after experiencing a true God-given once-in-a-lifetime talent. We know it happened to us. Prince also brought back the fantastic Something in the Water with Third Eyed Girl in another high-energy reinterpretation with blistering guitar solos and call and response with the crowd.
Y'all feel that? Why don't we talk about you tonight? Sing it! Baby, where were you last night? You just wanna play, this could be. And you been going, fooling around, yeah. Oh, they ain't ready, y'all. Bring it down, hey.
And also Prince's reinterpretation of Little Red Corvette with the slow down section, again with massive audience involvement. Just imagine that huge crowd at Glastonbury in the palm of Prince's hand as they call out, "Slow down." I get chills.
You got to take note, Charles. Slow down. Fellas, ladies, fellas, ladies, where your girls at? Come on, fellas.
The media attention Prince's performance would have generated, plus the huge reach it would have had, would not have only given his album sales a huge shot in the arm, it would have opened up his later catalogue to a huge audience who were not aware of it. Since Prince's passing, the sales of most of the releases, especially the Super Deluxe box sets, have been disappointing to say the least, giving little to no momentum. And although there are a number of reasons why releases have dried up lately, which is a whole other subject, I do wonder whether if sales were better and if more people were aware of them, it might have helped in the long term. So we never got to see a Prince performance at Glastonbury, something that I truly believe would have been a game changer for the festival and a huge boost for Prince's legacy had he performed it in the later years of his life and career. And although it's sad it never happened, we still have hundreds of incredible shows, TV specials and one-off performances, including festival performances, not only at the Hop Farm but also a series of unbelievable shows at the Montreux Jazz Festival. Well, that's not too shabby, is it?